Hello, YouTube. I love doing this.
Hello, YouTube.
I like being on camera.
Oh, hold on. My wife's calling me.
She's going to be live on YouTube.
No, she's not. Because I'm answering my phone. Hi, honey. You're live on YouTube. Are you okay?
I just wink at the camera. It's
Oh,
on YouTube.
very good.
We went live a little prematurely. Don't worry.
Okay. Great heartbeat, good.
We have 0 viewers, so it's fine.
That's okay, I love you. Oh, God, now all of YouTube knows I love you. Oh, she hung up.
Anna was not impressed with being live on YouTube.
No, she's like, okay, I'm going to go then. All right, you want to start the episode?
Yeah, we're going to start
excited?
the episode. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's break out. Come on, let's break out. Break out. Tell everybody break out. We bout to, it's time. Let's go, let's ride, let's roll. Got me feeling so free now. It's exactly what I need. Yeah, we knocking down the door. Turn up a little more. Hey, what you waiting for? Break out, break out. Oh, we on the map. I can take you now where the party at. We the ones that he just let you get back.
And we are live.
We're live.
It's happening.
Always.
And forever.
Yeah. Yes.
You really got to roll with the punches on this podcast.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for you to say, and on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I can't stop winking at the camera.
That's okay. There's probably like some sort of like a term for that. You know what I mean? It's some sort of a disorder. Yeah. But I'm down for it. I mean, because I'm accepting of everyone.
That's really kind of you.
Yeah, man.
Do you remember when we first started this podcast and our intro was like, "Hey guys," and we talked about like being inclusive? I love that. I miss that. I know it was kind of cheesy, but I loved it.
Well, we didn't plan it either.
I know.
We just started recording. I was like, all right, we're going to try to do an intro here. All right, whatever. Look at us now. I mean, I'll tell you what, like one day the video quality will get better, but I mean, just a couple of dudes with some like skull glasses and a skull decanter and their MacBook Pros.
Yeah.
I mean, we look professional.
There's Red Bull. They could sponsor us.
Damn, let me turn the label there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect.
Excellent. Yes, Red Bull, if you'd like to sponsor us. The buy-in fee is real small.
It's basically a case.
Yeah. How you doing today, Bri?
I'm doing well. I missed you on Sunday.
I missed you. It was a late night.
Yeah.
It was actually, I mean, I basically worked from 8 a.m. Sunday morning until 1 a.m. Monday morning.
That's a long day.
It's a very long day.
You might need to unionize.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. I think you and I should do a podcast union.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But
it'd be very socialist, you know what I mean? Because it's like Joe Rogan's making $100 million. He's just got to share that with us. Like, of the $100 million, he only has to have, I mean, $1 million would be great for us.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
We could put that $1 million into an index fund in the name of the podcast, and the podcast would make $70,000 a year at least.
Did you know when we started this whole podcast adventure, and you know, I really hope to continue for quite some time.
Oh, we will.
When we started this, there was, I think it was 800,000 podcasts. Do you know what the total is now?
What?
2.2 million.
Yeah, we got on into the ground floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're on the top. We're in like within the top 8 floors. You know what I mean? First 8 floors.
I think we're in the top 1,000 podcasts that are based around politics.
That's probably true. The number 1 right now for news and politics is actually Breaking Points.
Says who?
The podcast analytics.
Oh. Okay, that's fair then.
It's Crystal and Sagar.
Yeah, I know. That's surprising because they're
Wow,
not
they
free.
They have a huge following.
Yeah, but they're not free.
No, it's free to listen to them on Spotify.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't get to hear the entire thing because they like react to each other's monologues.
Really?
And it's inexpensive actually to join their platform. It's like you can do like I think $10 a month. You could pay up front. They have like a platinum thing where it's like they have like bricks on the back of their little background, and you can have your name engraved on a brick. I think it's like $10,000 or $5,000. I can't remember. I seriously thought about it for like 1 second.
We actually have a brick in the town.
Do you guys really?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know. No. Well, no. So
Brian's very dedicated to this brick.
the town of West Dundee was hosting every year. They kind of go all out for the holidays and stuff like that. And one of the holidays, they decided to have a Christmas lights decoration with the prize being, I think it was like $100 and a brick or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Noel went all out and really did it, and it was like Facebook, so we promoted the hell out of it, and we won. And
Sweet.
yeah, so we have a brick.
Does it say the Arns family?
No, it says banana.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's because of your names.
Yeah, our initials.
I'm smart.
You are.
Also,
Yeah.
you've told me that before.
We had to talk about tell a lot of people because I think it was like our hashtag for our wedding was finally banana or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I remember
Yeah.
when I was there signing your wooden thing.
Yeah. Speaking of, dude, I just went to my tab and it was the measuring dick size say when tab.
Oh, yeah. Brian was searching some naughty things.
No. There was a quote, and if you can remember it,
Yeah. Message us on Facebook.
please let us know. There was like a scene in a show, so this would be a good time to be following us on YouTube or watching the video
Because then you can see us.
I'm trying to pantomime. There was a point in a show where I think my wife said she thought it was
Parks and Rec, yeah.
and someone was saying like say when. And like he was pretending to like measure a guy's penis size,
Yeah.
and he just like kept going because the guy wasn't responding. He's
Right.
just like,
And then he's like, let's start again.
I can't remember the show. So if you remember, please let me know because
Yeah.
that way I'm not Googling.
Yeah. And then
those types of things.
send us the clip, too.
Yeah,
Because I'll laugh at it.
yeah.
You know what I don't want to laugh at right now?
What's that?
The Colorado River.
There's
I
less.
wasn't- and I-
There's,
I
there's
wasn't-
less and less to laugh at.
Well, exactly. You know what I mean? You don't punch someone when they're down.
Nope.
Just not how it goes.
No,
And we
we're
talked
not-
about you and
we're
I
not,
talked.
We're not Dave Chappelle.
Oh, did you not like the new special?
I actually didn't watch it, but I watched some of the clips and it felt very punching down.
I disagree.
We'll save that one.
It's comedy, but you know, to each their own. To each their own. I know that Netflix backed him.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing: is like, you can. I'm very supportive of free speech, and you can say whatever you want as a comedian, and it draws attention. And I don't think I'm not one of those people that says, "Oh, Dave Chappelle should be canceled" or anything like that.
No.
Like comedy, especially. But it felt like he was punching down a lot more than he was punching up, like usual.
He always says the same. That whole bit. You watch the whole special and then tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
All of this from talking about a river.
Down by the river.
We talked about the Colorado River before.
Yeah.
You and I did.
Yeah.
And it was a thing.
Especially because
And I always
you hate California.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hate all of those desert states that decide to steal all of the water from the Colorado River.
I mean, they gotta drink water. They gotta hydrate.
Well, I mean, look at Las Vegas. They're not just drinking the water; they're making fucking fountains in the desert. Goddamn dirty apes! I don't like that one bit. I don't need to see a fucking sailboat in the desert.
Okay.
Unless that desert used to be an ocean, which maybe Las Vegas did. Somebody who knows history, tell me. I'm just saying that I think that there's a lot of waste of water.
So why is this happening?
Well, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Well, because as the population grows and as the climate of the world starts to go up, you see an issue with water shortages.
Right.
I mean, you can look back. Actually, if you haven't listened to our episode on the drought going on, this is a while ago. I don't even know what episode that is, but we'll let you know. we talked about how it was a big issue there with farmers and things like that. But you've got more people, so you need more food, so you need to grow more, so you need more water for the crops. And with those increased people, they need to drink water, they need to shower, they need to do all of these things. We need more cattle to feed the people. The cattle need water. You need to irrigate those fields. You know what I mean? It's a big, long process, and you know, it all adds up. It's I think you could easily say that that's actually exponential, an exponential graph. My older brother yelled at me one time because I used the term exponential, and he's like, it's not really exponential. But he's also an electrical engineer, and he did a lot of math classes, so I don't want to, you know.
You don't want to question his parabolas.
Never. Not without my compass.
So,
or what, a protractor. But this is something that I read an article in the Wall Street Journal about this, and I think the New York Times might have covered it too. But it's not something that's on like your what's referred to as your mainstream. I'm not looking at the camera. I keep trying to look at you.
Yeah,
I'm not used to this yet.
That's okay.
It's something that you would refer to as your mainstream media. You know what I mean? Your CNNs, your Foxes, your things like that.
Well,
CSNBC or MSNBC.
I don't.
YMCA.
I don't like how they're getting called mainstream media.
I just meant like your main news channels online or on the TVs. I mean, I think mainstream media could be changed now. You could look at YouTube. Technically, we could be considered mainstream media because we're on YouTube, and YouTube is pretty mainstream.
Yeah, but we're not mainstream because we're not.
No.
Our live streams haven't gotten that quite.
Yeah, but we're still pretty hip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're doing fun media before it was cool.
Sure.
It's going to be real cool one
Sure.
day, and we'll be the originators. Not really.
So it wasn't getting a lot of news coverage, but you found this and you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about it because, well, it goes against everything I stand for.
Yeah. Well, I thought you would enjoy this.
Yeah.
Because it deals with this really ties in is just a quick preface here. Like, so what's happening? You've probably heard of the Waltons.
Yeah.
Yeah. The heirs to the Walmart kingdom.
Yes.
They have been investing large amount of monies through their foundation, which is the Walton Family Foundation, into the Colorado River through ways of like giving grants to like colleges, research groups, media outlets, all sorts of things. Basically, trying to find a way to solve this problem for water from people that are getting it, because it's currently 400 million people are getting their water, or 40 million people. Let me look it up here. 40 million people in the southwestern United States get their water from the Colorado River. In addition to that, you have a whole lot of thirsty crops out there, Bri.
Yes.
And they need water. You got thirsty cattle, all the stuff I was saying before. I don't want to, but I mean, a lot of like cotton, wheat, alfalfa, it's all coming from this region.
Yeah.
We use that in a lot of things.
Yes.
So the Walton family's solution to this is kind of turning water into a market. So making it a commodity. However, through all this philanthropic work, they're trying to make it seem as though they're looking for alternative ways of doing this. So they've done, I think it's almost $200 million now they put into this, which is kind of interesting, and we'll get into this a little bit later on. I have a whole lot to say on this because I kind of went down the rabbit hole on it. And I didn't want to get like too crazy about it, but ironically enough, two of the highest ranking members on the Walton Family Foundation team that were heading up this whole Colorado River thing, they now work in the Biden administration. You want to know what they're doing, Bri?
Working for the Department of the Interior.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
You know what they're in charge of? Or they put a lot of sway. They have a lot of sway on?
I'm guessing water sources.
Yeah. You know which one? Am I taking this too far? I am. The Colorado River.
Fair enough.
So, I think you have said this on the podcast before. If not, maybe I have. But politics like that, it's a revolving door. You know what I mean? They get into the Biden administration, they kind of like throw their weight around, and then what are they going to do when they retire from politics? They're probably going to have a seat on the foundation again. Which is interesting to me. But anyways, quick little history of that. So the Colorado River, they kind of divvied up the water rights almost 100 years ago. And it was divvied up between like cities, farmers, the indigenous people, because there are still some indigenous communities in that area.
Yeah.
And it was divvied up on what they thought was fair based on the amount of rainfall, the flow of the river that year. Now, ironically enough, that year was one of the rainiest years in history in that area. So they divvied it up based on that supply. Well, they didn't really have rainfall like that ever again. So they divvied out too much to begin with. And it's kind of, it helped initially, obviously, with like water usage and not, depleting it too quickly at the time. But then you run into this issue. You look at, almost a century later, and we have a lot of drought. We're not getting the same rainfall, especially this year. And so
last 2 years.
People are still using that amount of water, the amount of water allotted to them, which was overestimated at the time, and now it's depleted even more. Within the last decade, the flow of the river has decreased by 20%.
That is definitely not going to be a sustainable practice then.
It's very scary. It's very, very scary. So
I wonder, in terms of water as a resource.
Certainly.
Right? I remember at the end of Big Short,
yeah,
Brad Pitt's character.
You're going to beat me to it, but go on.
Oh, okay. So at the end, when they were talking about Brad Pitt and Christian Bale's character, all of these people, what were they focusing on next? What's going to be the best investment for the future, because of scarcity? And that was water.
Yeah.
And it's no surprise to me that, the Bill Gates of the world are trying to figure out ways to bring clean and fresh water to different areas.
Certainly.
Right? It's right now, the target demographic is these third world countries, especially in Africa, because there's so many issues with water in Africa, specifically in the less developed regions. But it seems to me that is, okay, we're doing this philanthropic effort for the long-term game, because eventually water is going to be very scarce everywhere, especially as climate change continues to happen. And a lot of people wanted to deny it, and now we're getting to a point where no one's denying it, but we're still not doing enough about it.
Well, right,
and I think these really, really brilliant business people can see the future with those things. That's what their job is to do.
Yeah.
And they have the resources to kind of investigate those things. So when you see the Bill Gateses of the world investing in these philanthropic efforts of creating clean water and clean energy and stuff like that, the Walton family getting involved with the privatization of water.
Michael Burry.
Yeah, Michael Burry saying, I'm going to invest in those processes because that's where the money's going to be.
He was already betting on, and that's a big thing now. They're betting on basically water shortages. They're betting on it becoming a commodity. And Michael Burry was doing some stuff. I don't know exactly what it was, but he was taking some positions with different, not just water filtration and water cleaning and purification,
but funds,
but funds and stuff like that.
Yeah, and when people are doing those things, right, you have to be very cognizant that they do know more than you.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with
and I'm okay with that. You just the idea is to take what they're saying and actually do something about it, or do something with it.
It was when people got very hesitant about vaccinations, who was getting vaccinated? It was the rich, powerful political class. Even the Tucker Carlsons of the world were getting vaccinated while saying, "Oh, you have your rights. You have your rights." But Fox News has one of the strictest vaccination mandates. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, they have one of the strictest mandates to work at Fox News. You have got to be vaccinated.
Very
right.
interesting.
So when you look at what are the, people follow Nancy Pelosi's investments.
Well, yeah, that's because she's a cheat and a crook.
Well,
and she has insider information.
She knows the path of policy. She understands the direction that we're going.
And she's involved with that policy making.
She invests in that way. And it's not just the policy making. It's the policy has to happen. Climate change is real, and we're going to have to adjust accordingly eventually.
So
invest in the green
clean energy.
Or invest in this company. Yes, there are times where it's definitely dirty. It's that company's getting a tax break.
Yeah. No, I jumped into that way too early. But
no, that is the case. So when rich and powerful people, whether they're politically powerful or they're powerful because of what they control in terms of the economic marketplace, whatever the case is, when they are moving a certain direction, you really have to be cognizant of what that direction is.
Yeah.
And so if people are investing in water resources, if people are trying to privatize it, it's because it's getting more and more scarce, and therefore it's going to be very expensive at one point.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you now that since you said you mentioned the cost of the water going up, I want to tell you what really scares me. And this is, I mean, this isn't what initially piqued my interest in it. I've always been kind of curious about water shortages because, I mean, it's going to happen whether we have to move to like desalination techniques. We use those now somewhat, but it's costly to do. So, I mean, maybe I'll be on the lookout for like some sort of new technology going into desalination, and I'll invest in it for sure. A small amount, but maybe I can make some money. But if we go with this whole market approach, so we go the Walton route, we turn water into this commodity, and then, I mean, so who ends up buying all this water? Well, it's rich people. It's, hedge funds, it's the Waltons, it's your billionaires, all those kind of people. So the first thing that you're going to see is the cost of water is going to go up. Nobody's going to disagree with that. It's going to skyrocket.
They say it costs about 59% more per year if it is a privately held water treatment. So, like, if it's not a municipality running that water source, it's about 59% more expensive per household.
And can I tell you, that's not even the part that scares me the most.
What's that?
It's the prioritization of where the water is going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because there's advantages and disadvantages to it going or becoming a commodity. Because if you look at it in the long term, what's going to end up happening is very simple. People are going to use less water because it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to cut the water usage, and people are going to say, well, I guess I don't really need that, so I'm going to use the water where it really needs to be used. Mm-hmm. Not just public people, but, your farmers. They'll find more, I don't know, creative techniques of keeping their crops healthy. I'm sure Monsanto will make a shit ton of money because they'll come up with some seed that requires like zero water.
It's the cactus tomato.
Exactly. Yeah. They'll Gregor Mendel the shit out of it and start crossbreeding some weird stuff.
It might be delicious, just kind of prickly.
Yeah, but then they'll come up with a seed that doesn't have the prickles.
Oh, that's true.
They'll just keep going.
I'm all in on the cactomato.
So you run into this advantage. So for you're gonna have advantage.
Are you with me? I think we should have a cactomato revolution. I think we're onto something.
Spiky ketchup.
Yeah. Instead of sugary, it's spiky.
Yeah, it had a little bit more earthiness to it. I think cactuses are earthy. I've had some cactus tacos. They're delish. They've been de-spined. Clearly.
Oh, I was going to say, you didn't need a toothpick after.
A whole bunch of cuts in my mouth afterwards. So you're going to have advantages for the wealthy, for cities too. Something something I didn't necessarily think about, but cities have money to spend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there'll be a prioritized for that water. Investors, hedge funds, everything I said. Your disadvantages are going to be for us. For your everyday people, for your farmers, for your ranchers. Everybody wants beef. I mean, we as a nation consume the most amount of meat compared to any other country.
Yeah, there was a fact that I can't remember, but it was like if everyone stopped eating meat, one meal a week, I think it would save us like 20% of the water source or water resources around the world.
I would do that. I got a great recipe from my mom for black bean, sweet potato. Like
it's like the taco-y sweet potato.
But she does it as like a ravioli almost.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I douse mine in hot sauce.
I had two helpings.
Oh, were you there when my mom made it at that time?
For your dad's birthday.
Oh, hell yeah, she did make it for that. Wasn't it good?
Yeah, I had 2 helpings.
It was, yeah. I don't even know if I ate that thing.
So only YouTube knows how many I really had because I showed the camera.
Yeah, so watch us on YouTube.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel just for that.
Yeah, just so you can know how many helpings of my mom's black bean sweet potato enchiladas that Brian ate. He also consumed 3/4 of a bottle of Southern Comfort.
Yeah.
That was a fun night.
It was.
We digress.
Then I watched Grey's Anatomy for like 8 hours the next day and cried.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, right. But this is where it gets scary though, because anytime, because this whole scenario reminds me of like Bill Gates with public health.
Yeah.
Like he wants to privatize privatize the entire public health sector, kind of.
Well, I mean, the public health sector pretty much is already privatized.
He wants to make it a commodity.
Yeah.
He wants to see where I guess where I was going with that. Maybe
Okay.
I misspoke, but where I was going with that. Sometimes there's good intentions for this. Like, okay, maybe the Waltons really want to save the water supply. Okay, but then when you have that, these rich people involved, and nothing against rich people, but they just want to get richer. Listen, I want to get richer too. I just don't want to fuck over my fellow man. Mm-hmm. So they're going to start prioritizing not based on need, but based on where they can make the most money.
Yeah.
Because where are they going to make the most money with with this water? You know what I mean? Joe Schmo, the rancher, who's got 1,200 cattle, doesn't have the same amount of money to spend than the cities have to spend.
Well, and it's not only the cities. You also got to keep in mind the corporations that need it.
Right. Certainly.
Like to create goods. So like you think of like manufacturing companies and stuff like that. Those types of companies are going to have the edge where they're going to say, yeah, we need a little tax break. We're bringing jobs and tax dollars. So we need those tax breaks on our water or whatever. We need cheaper water. And they're going to get prioritized before the little man, because that is what happens in America. Corporations consistently, time and time again, get prioritized over the little man.
Aren't a lot of you know more about technology than I do, but like some of the big processors like that Facebook would be using and things like that, aren't they like water cooling some of those big computers?
That I don't know, like the servers and stuff like that. I'm sure there's some sort of,
because I know that there's computers you can buy, like big time gamers. They use like water cooled computers.
Oh yeah, but I don't think that's like I don't think that's a consistent. I think they have a lot of fans and stuff like that keep it moving.
Yeah.
But, or like Bitcoin mining and stuff like that, the crypto mining.
Oh yeah,
those servers are like overheating like crazy and use a ton of energy. But like in those energy complexes, there's a lot of water, steam, stuff like that needs to happen. So those are the companies that are going to get priority over, hey, Kevin needs to take a shower. Actually, I do. But
I just took one today. I hadn't showered since Sunday.
good for you. That's good for your skin. That's good for your hair. Like,
My hair, like after I washed it, my hair felt real healthy.
Yeah.
But like I felt real disgusting. Under my hat, my hair looks very healthy.
the part that's
Oh yeah, I can't get that poof to stay in. Sorry, guys. Not sorry.
yeah. Don't be sorry.
I'm not apologizing for
You
shit.
should. You know what? You should apologize to me because I can't have that beautiful poof.
You know what? For all the people watching on YouTube, look at how healthy that. I mean, just run your fingers through that, Bri. It is softer than you can even. Isn't it soft?
Oh my god!
I know, dude.
You have very soft hair.
That might have been the first time Brian ever touched my hair.
It won't be the last. I know that much. I might as well be in a Vidal Sassoon commercial.
Ooh.
Maybe you know what? I'm in an herbal. I have the urge to herbal all of a sudden.
Yeah, just remember that Tammy listens to our podcast. Don't be throwing out herbal essences. I'm all Aveda, baby.
Oh, good for you. And that's why.
Brian looks so handsome.
No, I have no hair.
Oh.
Because I used herbal essences for so long. You should have used Aveda, Brian. And you know what? You're right.
Yeah, I just wait for it to go on sale because the shampoo is expensive. I don't typically buy that. Anna just buys whatever's on sale.
Now I'm even worse. I just use Irish Spring as I'm.
Yeah.
I use a bar soap now, and then I just lather up my hand and.
Are you using the? Why don't have you not used the? Did I never bring you those soaps?
No.
I got the. Oh God, I gotta bring those.
No,
soaps.
the Squatch.
Dr. Squatch, because you can use that. It's an all-in-one.
Yeah,
dude. I wash my face with that. My face is so smooth.
Yeah,
and acne free.
Mine's not very smooth. I have a lot of hair on my face.
Do you? Oh, my beard is there, but like I don't have hair otherwise. Well, my eyebrows.
See,
you can't see them on the camera because of the lighting. God dang. Yeah, so there's a whole lot going on with the Colorado River right now with water scarcity in general. And it scares me because I think that this is an opportunity. I don't think that we need to make water a commodity.
No, I agree.
I think that the government should jump in and be like, okay, we talk about this Green New whatever all the time. I act like I didn't know what I mean. It's the Green New Deal. Mm-hmm. We talk about all this going green, saving the earth, but they're not putting their money where their mouth is. It's very simple. We have an issue with water.
Well, not so fast. They're trying to. They're trying to spend $3.5 trillion.
Fair enough.
But, Steve Manchin's an asshole, and Kristen Sinema's too busy running a marathon.
Yeah. You know how much water she fucking wasted running that marathon?
I don't
You know how
know.
much water she needed to hydrate herself?
She doesn't care about the public. And she's in Arizona.
Yeah, she fucked. This really grinds my gears.
You know what else is a big issue with the privatization?
Please.
Is
tell
the
me.
lack of transparency.
Certainly,
Right?
yeah.
So when a private company now takes it over, the books aren't open.
Right.
Right? When the public owns it, right, and the government runs it, the government is responsible for opening their books. You have a duty to open up your books to the public, especially around election time and stuff like that. Like, you have the Freedom of Information Act. You have a right to access anything government. And so when a private company takes it over, we no longer have access to those numbers, whether it's usage, consumption, or the costs involved, what's being spent on R&D, all of those things. When you get to a private company, all of that goes away.
Yeah.
And so we saw that with Texas, right, during the blizzard.
right.
The utility company, it was a bunch of privately held companies that basically didn't have any agreements with the government. So similarly, like, you have a utility company like a ComEd, they have franchise agreements where there's a certain level of transparency that has to happen between the city of Chicago and ComEd, right, to have that agreement. In Texas, there are no agreements. There's no electric grid mobility between multiple states. It's literally just Texas on its own. And so we saw the price gouging that happened, and like the lack of money that was being put into the R&D and the upkeep of that electrical grid, and what happened during that blizzard. The water source will only be worse, right? It'll only get worse because the scarcity of water, I think, is far more impactful, right, than anyone thinks, because it's not just like electricity. Oh, I lost my TV or whatever. Like, you cannot live without water.
Certainly.
You can live without electricity. I think it would be very uncomfortable for people to not have their iPhones charged or their computers working.
Yeah.
Especially as we are, in the midst of a global pandemic, and there's so much work from home and all of that. So technology and electricity is super important, but you cannot live without water.
Fun fact about electricity, you can get that from the sun.
True.
I don't know why. That's another thing I'd like to see invested. I think that's part of like the whole. That was part of the Green New Deal. I don't know if it's part of the infrastructure plan, but like solar energy is just so incredible. And like when I now, I think everybody on the podcast knows that I'm on our house hunting, and she was asking me the other day. She's like, "Well, okay, we're looking at this house," and she goes, "Well, what would be the first improvement you would want to make?" And I said, "Solar panels."
Really?
Yeah, to be able to be like, you know what? I don't really even need to be part of the grid for electricity. I'm going to make my own.
I think that's awesome. I'm a big supporter of it. I think, this whole subject is really barking up my tree. Like, I despise the idea of utilities becoming commodities that are privately held.
Right.
Whether it's electricity, whether it's water, whatever the case is. It absolutely bugs the shit out of me, because you're talking about people's livelihood. And I think another thing that, when we talk about water, we think of water like as drinking or showering.
Yeah.
People forget you need water to flush down your shit.
Yeah.
So the sewage system would be so expensive.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, like the damage that can happen to a community that is being underserved with this now private utility of water.
Yeah.
If they are not flushing down their shit, how much disease and illness can run rampant.
Certainly.
And we know how fragile our healthcare system really is.
Yeah. This is one of those. This is another, and I feel the need to always share this, but this is another one of those reasons why I just, like, I came into this podcast thinking that I was far more libertarian than I am. because I'm, you know what I mean. This is something that a libertarian. If you think of the Ron Swanson of libertarians, where he was like,
Yeah.
he thought the park system should be like Chuck E. Cheese,
Yeah.
where like somebody could buy out the park system. Like, you want to go on a swing, you drop in a quarter. You want to go down the slide, you drop in a quarter. And so, like, I think that there are some strict libertarians out there that would say, fuck it, prioritize or privatize it.
Yeah.
Let people buy it up. That's fine. That's their right. I disagree with that. You run into a whole lot of issues. Like Brian said, flushing the toilet. You know what I mean? It's those littlest of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about the number of people who would stop gardening at their own house.
Right.
Couldn't afford it.
Right.
Couldn't afford it. Water is not something that being in the. Oh my God, I feel like I'm Brian right now. Jesus Christ.
I'm dancing for those watching on YouTube.
God damn it. Yeah. In living in the United States of America, we should not have a problem with fucking water. Yeah. And not to mention, those fucking scientists that are out there. Listen here, scientists, if you're watching. Oh my God, I'm doing a great job of looking at the camera right now. I'm pointing at the camera. You guys on YouTube. Hey, we have one viewer right now.
What's up?
What's going on? Got us in an intense moment. All you scientists out there that are fucking making some weapons and shit, or designing some new whatever for your billion-dollar company, fuck that. I want you to go out, find a way to get some more water. Take the salt out of the fucking ocean. But don't kill the fish, though. Just take, little bits at a time.
I think that is something that is being researched in like the desalinization.
But we need like an Operation Paperclip here.
What's that?
That's when we pulled all the Nazi scientists.
Oh, really?
You ever heard of that?
No.
You gotta listen to more conspiracy theory podcasts. It's not an actual conspiracy theory. Like Operation
It's like
Paper.
it's like the deep
Operation
history.
Paper. Yeah. They did a whole thing on it, on like possibilities from it. But the Operation Paperclip is a declassified document now. Like we did. We pulled a bunch of Nazi scientists, and that's how we started NASA.
Makes sense. I mean, German engineering back then was
premier. Look at German cars now. They're fantastic. They're expensive to fix, but like
they don't get fixed as often.
Another thing Germans do well: beer.
Yeah.
Have you had Kronbacher?
Yeah, I have.
I know that's a mainstream one or a popular one. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like the beer that they drink in the movie. Bless you. What's the movie? Beer Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you see that beer in the movie, you're like, I want to drink that beer. That's kind of like what Kronbacher is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's get some more German scientists.
I think, well, and
Germany, our one
Germany
viewer, I'm so sorry.
Germany has really invested a lot in green energy. That has been kind of a trademark to Angela Merkel's legacy. Now that she's leaving, they're actually going more progressive. I believe the most progressive candidate actually beat out the more centrist candidate. So they're going to probably invest even more heavily into green energy and innovation with clean energy and renewable energy. And
I think. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. So I think to bring it back with privatization is it's never actually beneficial for the public good. And what I mean by that is this. I think when we talk about private companies and stuff like that, I don't think we should go full socialist, communist. Like I'm not saying that. But when it comes to the greater good of people, a private company is not driven by that. At its core, its number one responsibility is profit. That is
Correct.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Socialism is rewarding the labor force with the fruits of their labor, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in capitalism, it's who owns the means of production gets all of the benefits in that position.
Yeah, you want to know what happens when you privatize things? Look at our current system now. That's what happens when you privatize things that are needed, things that are necessities in everyday life. Listen, we all fucking need healthcare. Nobody can go to the doctor without healthcare. You know what I mean? If you do, you're gonna fucking go broke.
Yep.
Okay, so we need that. That's something that should not be privatized. Or, I mean, whatever. We talked about the different systems. I don't even really necessarily know where I stand. That's something that I would have to do, like, 2 or 3 podcasts on and listen to Brian talk about a bunch of shit for a while, which I would love to. I love the sound of your voice. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I would do that for
Yeah.
you. I would do that for me because it would be beneficial for me.
I thought we
But,
had a
like,
very productive podcast. So
I thought we did too.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. But like, yeah, like water, we're fucked. We're fucked. If you privatize water, you just start selling the rights to everybody. Your everyday people are completely screwed. It's a very, very scary thing. If that ever happens,
when,
2 weeks of tyranny with me and Brian.
when when you think of privatization, even of utilities, right?
Yeah.
If the government controls it and then offers up contracts to different companies,
Certainly.
then there's still like a capitalist environment. But really, what's going to happen is that competition is going to drive the cost down. As we've seen in a lot of these utilities or even healthcare, there's just not enough competition.
Right, certainly.
And therefore the cost continues to skyrocket.
I don't want to see the Rockefeller of water.
Right. And that's what it's going to turn into. And it's going to turn into, obviously, it's not something discovered. It's not like oil was kind of like, oh, it's on the cusp. We're figuring it out. And like, oh, how to, mine for, or not mine for it, but drill for it and all that. And that's how they got the advantage. Or steel was like a new up and coming thing. And you kind of monopolized it that way. This is the Waltons and the Gateses and, all of the billionaire class.
Certainly.
They have the advantage. They're the
Yeah.
ones that can buy up the contracts, sway the politicians,
Right.
do whatever they
Certainly.
need to do to gain control of that. Now, when we look at the privatization of any of these things, right? When we look at healthcare, when we look at electricity in like Texas, when we look at prisons,
Yeah.
like you're seeing the idea of it was run the same way as the government, but now they're doing 20 to 30% less because profitability is an issue. So they have to do whatever the government was doing, but then carve out 20 to 30% in either savings or some sort of production in order to make it profitable. And we see the more and more privatization of prisons, right? So we started to see the shift in like the 80s with the war on drugs and stuff
Right.
like that. More and more people going to prisons. Okay, we're going to, have more and more private prison systems. You see more and more people going to jail for bullshit crimes. Oh, they had weed. They're going to prison, right? They're a young kid. They did a bad thing. They need to learn their lesson. They're going in for 10 years. And it's like that is not doing what is best for society. So when we privatize these things, now if you want to privatize where you get your groceries from, absolutely. You have a new software system that helps salespeople, whatever. You have a new search engine on the internet and you want to privatize, go for it. I do not care about that. That is not something that people need in order to live. It is not affecting their absolute livelihood.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. When lives are on the line, in education, in the military, in prisons, water, electricity, when lives are on the line, you cannot privatize it and put profits first.
No putting them on hold when they're on the line, baby. It's a phone joke.
Yeah. Sorry. I got pissy.
That's okay.
It's been a while since we had a
Yeah.
topic where I got this riled up. But it
It hasn't been that long. It wasn't a topic though. It was hot sauces that did it to you.
that's
The
true.
sassiest I've ever seen Brian.
I do. My buddy Joe tuned in after. He was supposed to tune in the day of, and he didn't get to, and he's like watching it back, and he was texting me quotes that I was saying, and I think like one of them was, "I give the people what they want."
Yeah,
was
that
one,
was very
and
funny.
then the other one was, "This is so hot that my teeth hurt."
That was me.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
That was maybe that was a Snapchat because Jason snapped me that
Oh, that's awesome.
like a day later.
yeah.
Which I don't even know what I was saying at that point. And it would have been one thing if it was the drinks, but it was just the hot sauces.
It was everything for me. It was
Yeah.
everything. If you haven't had a chance, go back and watch on YouTube. If you're, a subscriber, check out these live streams and stuff like that. If we're recording, you can always hop in the chat. But if not,
Yeah, we'll answer anybody.
Yeah, we'll answer.
I was going to say that when you were talking at the time, but I was going to say to the one viewer,
hop in the chat.
Yeah, hop in the chat. We'll talk to you guys when we're recording an episode. It'll only make people want to go on YouTube more, which is very exciting.
I like it.
It's very exciting.
But for those of you that aren't watching on YouTube, but you subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Casts or whatever the case is, hop into
Whatever
our YouTube.
cast.
Hop into the YouTube. See what it's like to see us live. You'll know exactly how many servings of the sweet potato enchilada casserole I had. And make sure you subscribe down at the bottom. Like the videos. Leave a comment. We'll try and get back to you.
Yeah.
But that's always fun. But I want to bring it back. One last thing about the privatization.
Please.
With all due respect to the idea of capitalism and the innovation that can happen, I think there is really starting to be a need across all corporations where we're not taxing properly, we're not enforcing anything like R&D. So like these companies that make massive profits should be invested in R&D. And like we talk about, capitalism brings forth innovation, right? It forces people to become more innovative. But here's the thing.
It does.
There's plenty of innovation that happens through government streams. Things like NASA, things like,
Which we don't even really fund
not
NASA
OSHA,
that well
not
anymore.
OSHA. What, there's the weather is monitored by the government, and then like you have what was that one AccuWeather?
Yeah.
Right? They
Yeah.
feed off of the government information. They don't have their own satellites. They
Right.
feed off of the government satellites and information collected by the government that they have a direct feed into, and then they provide it, and now
Yeah.
they're getting all the profits instead of the government reaping
Yeah.
those benefits. So there's a lot of innovation that happens through government in public practice.
Certainly.
So when we think about privatization, it really shouldn't be about the public good or these utilities that are absolutely required. Innovation can happen through the public sector, and we see it.
Yeah.
We see like going back in history, like with vaccinations and Jonas Salk, he sold the patent for $1 to a university and made it so that the polio vaccine was accessible to the rest of the world. Meanwhile, like we're super excited that the vaccine is quote unquote free for us, but those Pfizers and Modernas of the world are holding on the patent so that they can't be made around the world by cheaper means, right? So other companies can't do like the signature kitchen version of the cereal. They can't do the same thing with the vaccine.
Yeah. Well, one thing really fast to our one viewer that's watching again, please hit us up in the comments. We're watching right now. You type something, we'll see it.
Subscribe at the bottom.
Like and subscribe. But I do want to say something because you're getting pissed off about the fucking vaccines. How about fucking Merck
Yeah.
or Merrick or however you pronounce the
Are
drug?
you talking about insulin?
No, I'm talking about the people.
EpiPens?
The people that just made the miracle drug for COVID.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, little red. Well, the maybe it's a red pill, but it's a red logo. I don't know. Yeah, you haven't heard about this yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh! Well, they're finding out that basically the companies that were doing the vaccines, like they stalled the rollout of this pill. There's an investigation into it now because they thought that it was going to prevent people from getting vaccinated. But they've got this little pill that like reduces the yeah. You see it? Mm-hmm. It reduces the symptoms of COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean the effectiveness of it is great. It shows great promise. But
Yeah, this is covered by the Associated Press.
Yeah, okay. So, but then check this. Yeah, Brian. I'm not just spouting off bullshit.
No, I didn't know. But sometimes you go down the rabbit hole on YouTube. And,
Okay, but now like Brian's like fact checking me talking.
well, I didn't know about it, and it's.
You know what?
I trusted you.
Did you, Brian? Is that why you
did.
Googled it and then you said,
I wanted to know more about it.
Oh, I guess the Associated Press covered it, so I guess Kevin's not full of shit. Fuck you.
So here's the thing. I do. My wife. Hates
And now that
this
we're
about me.
sitting,
My wife-
next to each
my
other,
wife-
I can see what you're doing.
My wife hates this about me. Is I take a very. I like to say scientific approach. Like I will trust you and say that, but I still need to
See it.
I
I
and
understand.
discover and like
I'm just
really.
talking shit, bro. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
But I wouldn't have done it to your face. I would have turned my laptop the other way. You son of a bitch. No, but like, so here they are. They have this pill, and they're saying, "Oh, less people would have gotten vaccinated." I mean, that's not necessarily true. You look at the breakthrough cases, which there's more of them than I think than are reported on. I think that those people, when they get COVID, when they have the vaccine, they still want that little pill that's going to reduce their symptoms by 50%.
Yeah.
I'm still going to buy it. But then get this shit. And I don't know the exact prices. But it's like I want to say it was like a 400% increase is what they added to the price of the pill.
Yeah.
It cost them like $14 to make, and they're selling the pill for like $450 a pop or something like that.
Well, and the big issue for me, and maybe not so much with Merck, because I'm still just learning about it, but the millions and millions of taxpayer dollars that went into the R&D of that, like the went into the R&D of creating a vaccine that could be scalable and all of that, was paid for by tax dollars of the American people. Right? So that company that is making tons and tons of money is great, but I love it, Chris. Chris just hopped in the chat. You can do that if you're watching on YouTube these days. The great idea of that is like, okay, we're helping fund this innovation through taxpayer dollars. It should be the right of the taxpayers to have that, right? So that's why it was free to us. But we're not getting enough around the world, and it's coming at a cost to those people. And that's the shitty part of it all. Is like, that should be considered foreign aid at that point. Like, we invested, now pay the $12 it probably cost to make 100 vaccinations, and send that shit over.
Nikki.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I switched accounts on YouTube so that it's coming from the Mad Libs podcast, and all of a sudden Brian had to hear Norm Macdonald.
That's all right. I love me some Norm Macdonald. I'm interested in the fact that you are more against the privatization, which is exciting to see.
Well, like I was saying earlier, it's not even I'm not against privatization of certain things, but I am definitely against the privatization of necessities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are certain things that are like, listen, if you want to fucking privatize coffee, which they realistically already have, you know what I mean?
Right. They should.
And the number of like private farmers or like independent farmers has gone up, and you see it in a lot of like countries like Ethiopia and stuff like that, where like a lot of farms get together and they pull
Almost like a co-op. Or co-op.
It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
They pool all their coffee beans together.
Yeah.
Obviously they're graded and all that stuff first.
Yeah.
They put them all together, and then they can actually compete against these big boys, these big farmers. You know what I mean? Like you see a lot of the bigger farmers out in like Colombia, Brazil, things like that, where a majority of the coffee
Isn't Ethiopian? Isn't that like the best bean in the world?
That's debatable. So, but like Ethiopia is like the birthplace of coffee.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the coffees that grow there, they're still like, it's not like, so when the beans left Africa, it was what they call the Typica lineage, which is like it's your basic bitch bean. And that's what like the Dutch king gave to the French king or whatever as a peace offering. They grew coffee, and then the French took it across to, South America.
Okay.
That's how it got over there. And then it mutated from there. But you have all these like varietals that aren't necessarily named coming out of Africa. It's truly growing wild in Africa, which is a really cool thing. So I like my favorite coffees come from Ethiopia for sure.
Okay.
But like if you want to back to what I was saying before, I went into coffee there.
I love it.
Hopefully Jason really likes that. What you see, you're privatizing something like coffee. It's like, I don't give a shit. Like, you don't need coffee.
Right.
You know what I mean? I fucking love coffee, and I drink a lot of coffee.
Right.
But it's not something where I'm like, oh, well, if you take away all the coffee tomorrow, privatize it tomorrow, and it becomes super expensive, I'm not going to survive. No, I'm just going to stop fucking drinking coffee.
Right.
Or I'm going to drink a whole lot less of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that would affect the energy drink companies and stuff like that, because a lot of the caffeine that like is sourced from
extracts.
that. It's like green. They call it GCE, green coffee extract. It's part of the Swiss water process. It's very cool. But when you do something like water, You know what I mean? Or like in this case, what Brian and I can agree on, like there needs to be something done about healthcare. Like that's another story.
Prison
you know what I mean?
systems.
Yeah.
Because
I know you're really hung up. I agree with you. We could do it honestly, and we should. We should do an entire podcast on the prison system. Okay. One of these days, and I was thinking about this today, because I was getting really excited about the podcast. I'm going to get excited about it every week, twice a week.
But when we miss that one day and like put out other content, I feel like super energized.
Certainly
to come back.
Oh, we have 2 viewers now. Second viewer, if you're watching right now, currently, you can say something in the chat and we'll respond to you.
Our podcasters are going at 2x speed now.
Boom, baby. But yeah, we should do something on prison. But what I was thinking this morning is we need to do something that you and I disagree on again sometime soon. Because you and I will disagree on techniques to go about things a lot. But we should go on it about something that...
I don't know exactly what we fully disagree on anymore. Like, I think
we're just so good at talking to each other. No, that's part of it. That's part of it, Brian. Don't sell yourself short, kiddo.
I think a lot of it is... I think with us, there's always been a mutual understanding that our disagreements aren't fundamental or foundational. I think our disagreements lie in, like you said, carrying things out or procedural things. Like, with healthcare, you did believe in like some privatization, but like there's obviously something broken that needs fixing, and like
and there's a lot of things that are just too far gone. I do think, I think healthcare would probably be a prime example of that.
Yeah.
There's some things that are just so fucked. I was almost going to say effed, but I was like, at this point, I've said swear words, so like it's not even worth it anymore. That we're so effed at this point that like
it just needs to be
like yeah. And then maybe if you come up with some other great ideas later down the line, then that's fine too. But yeah,
at no point does the privatization of anything make something cheaper for people, because what ends up happening is margins matter.
Sometimes it does, though. I mean, if you look at grocery stores,
maybe initially it does.
Everyone, and that's the ideal model. Okay, so like I want to buy my lunch. You don't do the grocery shopping. Noelle does. Yeah, let's get Noelle on so I can talk to her. No, I'm just kidding. Like there are sometimes, a lot of times if I'm tired, like I'll just go to one grocery store and I'll knock it out. And sometimes I know I'm spending more on certain items by going to that one grocery store, but the convenience of it
is cheaper somewhere else, or
right. But like I like to go to Mariano's because I think Mariano's and Jewel, I think they have good produce.
Yes, I agree.
But there's other things where I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to I can get this cheaper at Woodman's. I can get this cheaper at
Aldi.
I love Aldi.
I love Aldi. I didn't used to. I used to be a snob. I only went to Jewel, but Aldi has great value.
Yeah. Oh, but Aldi does a great job.
Yeah.
They have other ways of keeping their prices down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of cool like little ticker talkers on there.
Yeah.
Little what do they call them? Movers. That's what they used to call movies, like moving pictures.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think so. I don't know. Fact check me. You're so good at it. But no, so like the ideal idea of capitalism to me is like a grocery store. Like I can go get my produce cheaper here, but I can go if I'm going to get cereal, I'm not going to get my cereal from Mariano's. There's a big markup on it. I'll go somewhere else.
Right. So in that instance, you're paying for the convenience.
Certainly.
Could you go make a deal with a farmer and say, hey, for each husk of corn, I'll pay you this, and it's 50 cents cheaper or whatever, and logistic. Because when you're paying for the convenience, you're paying for the logistics involved, and they are capitalizing on the volume, right? But they're not capitalizing on the fact that they're taking advantage of you, right? Like they can't gouge you, like the EpiPen with Schlecker or whatever his name, the asshole was that had the drug company with the EpiPens, and he jacked up the price 700% or whatever. You know who should go. You know who should go
to a private prison? That guy. We will keep open one private prison.
Well, and he probably owns the stock that has it, but that's one of the big fundamental issues with the privatization and capitalism in general. Is everything comes down to profit, and if it's livelihoods at stake, I've said it. Same thing with military. Like I understand that there's a lot of R&D and innovation involved, But when you look at the CEO salaries and stock buybacks and all of
And
those
that's
things,
and that's not
the issue.
capitalism though. That's not capitalism. That's just greed. That's individual greed.
That is capitalism in its worst form. But that is capitalism. It's
Because there's greedy people in socialism. Yeah.
Greed is good, and that was the motto of capitalism for so long. There's no such thing as capitalism that puts people first.
Yeah.
That's called socialism. You're thinking about the social good.
That's just called giving a shit about your fellow man.
I agree. And like you said,
We're going to start a new political party, and that's what it's going to be called.
Giving a shit.
Giving a shit about your fellow man.
Yeah. It might have some legs.
Yeah, dude. It's got fucking 4 legs right now, homie.
Grassroots, starting in the garage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to grow some grass in here.
We're like Steve Jobs in it right now.
Yeah.
Starting in the garage.
We on the map.
Oh my god.
I can take you now with a party at. We the ones that he just let into the bag. We the misfits. How you gonna react? We insomniacs. We ain't gonna.
And that's why you got to mute the track, kids. You guys on YouTube, you guys will get to see
saw
that.
me freak out.
Yeah, you guys on YouTube will get to see that. Brian, remember 59 minutes.
59 minutes.
Everyone on YouTube will hear that, but
So this is something to be mindful of.
I know, Brian. I messed up.
No. For those of you that just spit out your water that you were drinking because it got so loud,
understand
we need to not allow the privatization of large water resources like the Colorado River, like these large, lakes and stuff like that, where we get so much of our fresh water, the aquifers. The more we allow for the privatization of it and take it away from municipal efforts, the worse it's going to be long term for everyone, because profits are going to come before people.
I agree. God, look at us.
Look at us.
Yeah. Do you want to, speaking of water, do you want to talk about the ports?
No, we'll have to get to that. We're at an hour.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Chris, and whoever our second viewer was. We appreciate that. Anybody who wants to join into the fun, we'll start putting something out on our Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll give like a 10-minute warning.
Yeah, it's been hard for me because I took Facebook off my phone.
Oh.
So I haven't been as active on it.
Yeah.
So I have to be on my computer to go on Facebook. So I'll be a little bit more diligent about that. But in the meantime, do good, be great.
Love you guys. All right, we're still on YouTube.
We're on the YouTube.
I'm okay with that. Do you want to go a little longer on YouTube? Or do you want me to
no, I'm fine on time.
Yeah.
I just think I don't want to start a whole new subject
when we're an hour in.
Yeah, and the port thing is going to be interesting because did you see Biden talk about it?
About
the ports today?
I did not. No.
Okay, so Biden said today that the port of LA is going to be open 24/7 because there's so much backup on the ships.
I saw the videos. Did you see? I think CNN did a flyover of it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
and I've actually watched some TikTok people that work in there, and they're showing you so this is where we do this. We don't have enough crane operators and stuff like that. And some of it was COVID. But then, the supply chain is so, I guess you would say, tight with its domino effect.
Certainly.
One little slip up sends so much reverberation along the entire chain. So I think it's what?
You see Chris's comments talking about our party system. Or our new political party.
Oh, Andrew Yang has some great ideas, but also not my guy.
Oh, he's not my guy either.
UBI, I think.
UBI sounds great, but you can have a great idea and be a not great politician.
Right. He had the idea, and it kind of got poo-pooed so much because he didn't sell it well enough.
Yeah.
But, his thought process behind it and even funding it was really good.
Agreed.
And I think that will be the future as we continue to automate so much.
Yeah.
Just wait till cars are fully autonomous. And then the services that you can utilize, the Ubers and Lyfts of the world, where
Certainly,
you can utilize that service, and it's there's no cost to the company, and it's except the electric that was required to charge the car, because it'll be autonomous and electric, and
yeah,
I mean it's going to be incredible.
I like I really enjoy a gas-powered vehicle.
Yeah.
But like not just any old gas-powered vehicle. Like I could take my SUV and I could take my little Honda Fit and I could make them electric and like I wouldn't care. But like there's nothing quite like driving like a manual transmission vehicle. Something that's got some speed.
I've only done it twice.
Yeah, I did it for a long time.
I don't know. You liked having the stick in your hand.
What guy doesn't?
I like it to be done automatically for me.
Yeah. That's good.
Thanks.
That's really good. Yeah, for anybody watching this far on YouTube, we appreciate you.
Yeah,
We don't. Oh, we have a viewer again. It's probably
Yeah.
Chris. We're not recording the actual episode anymore, but
No.
we are staying live on YouTube for just a little while longer. Hold on a second. Oh, Christine just texted me.
Is she watching?
She might have been watching.
Maybe.
Do you think you might be able to order Roger Klein's Mexican moonshine? Oh, no, that's not supposed to be said. She's looking for a special tequila.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find the distributor.
Yeah, you got to find your wine distributor for me, too.
I know. I'm sorry, dude.
No,
I have to
dude-
do that. You're
dude.
right.
You worked a wedding for 14, 15 hours?
Well, I don't know. What is it? 8 a.m. to 1 a.m.? I think it was more than
17,
that.
16,
17
hours?
hours? 17 hours. It's a large portion of your day. You can consider there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did go into the other day, so it's like...
Yeah. I got 1 hour's worth of work in on Monday morning.
Lazy ass.
I felt lazy at the time, to be honest with you.
You know, the problem is when you do those types of... Like, I remember bartending like 10, 12 hours.
Yeah.
And the problem is you feel so exhausted. You get home, but you're still kind of wired mentally.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't fall right asleep, and then you do, and it's a great sleep. You just generally have a really nice sleep.
Yeah.
But your legs hurt for, like, 2 days.
I get my legs, I feel the pain in my legs when I do, like, stairs the next day.
Yeah.
But my big thing is, like, the pins and needles on your feet.
Yeah.
Like, it feels when you hopped out of bed, like you almost fear getting out of bed.
Yeah.
And it's not because you're tired.
It's diabetes.
Oh. Well, it beat me.
I don't think it's diabetes for you. Diabetes.
No, I think it's just like being in my feet all the time. The calluses on my heels are ridiculous.
See, I have really smooth feet. My wife is jealous.
We've talked about this.
My wife is jealous about my feet.
Yeah.
And it was even like when I used to work at Blue Root or whatever, I just, for some reason, my fat hobbit feet are able to withstand and not get calloused.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But they're very, so like the heel of my foot
Yeah.
will often get blistered because the skin is very soft.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think you told me that before because when I told you we should go get pedicures.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife says that a lot about my feet.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not like a toe sucker or anything, so it's not like that. But she'll like,
No, I get you.
I'll like put my feet up or something, and she's like, how are your feet so soft all the time? I was like, I don't know, babe. I don't know.
Yeah. I need a pedicure.
Yeah.
Dude, they probably have like that much to cut off that's all just like callous.
That's a really interesting experience. Are you when you get a pedicure, are you super ticklish?
I used to be. I'm not so much anymore. No.
Really?
Hey, welcome back to our 2 viewers.
Yeah.
We're not recording anymore, but we are staying live on YouTube just for a little while. Doing a
Yeah.
little hang. Brian, you want a little whiskey? We're live on YouTube. You can't say no.
Yeah, I guess not.
You could say no if you
Is-
wanted to.
Is the Fireball in there?
I mean, I don't know where else it would have gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll actually have some Fireball. Like, I'll sip Fireball. It's less Bernie for me.
You want me to go get you a gallon?
For someone who supports Bernie so much, I really don't like Bernie drinks.
He should get into the liquor business. If he knew what was... Hey, you know what?
Heading off for the night. Great show, boys. Thanks, Chris. We appreciate you.
We're just getting started. Just kidding.
What's that? Oh, it's kosher.
Yeah, dude, well, because Bernie.
I like
Isn't
that.
he Jewish?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wasn't trying to be mean.
No. That's good.
I like how I have to preface it with it. I'm not trying to be a dick, but
I'm not a full-blown Trump supporter, but
God, sometimes I look at these glasses and I'm like, what did we have in these glasses? And why haven't we cleaned them? Oh yeah, you wanted this. There was not the Fireball in there.
that's fine. Oh, well.
Oh yeah.
I thought tonight's podcast was really good.
I got a little over energized in the beginning. I had to reel myself back.
No, I think I disagree. Like when you always feel that way when you kind of take charge of the podcast. So like when you're really well researched and you're really energized and it's like kind of your topic and you want to go, like that's just as valuable.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Oh, that's
That's actually really good.
I haven't had that one in a while. And after having the 139 proof one, it's just like when you up the Scovilles and then go back to Tapatio.
Oh, I had the jalapeno today.
I took actually because Anna had the day off. She was. Did I tell you?
When?
This is why didn't I tell you I was up until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Anna took the day off today. She needed the day off, and so she felt better this morning because I pumped her full of fucking liquid IV, and like made her eat some crackers and stuff like that.
What kind of crackers?
I think it was Ritz. I had Ritz at the house.
Oh, I had those.
I love Ritz crackers.
I had those like chive ones, or like, like you get the little pack and it's like the 6 crackers with the cheese filling, like cheese and chive.
Dude. Yeah.
I had 2 packs of those, and then they have this new one. It's like grilled cheese.
I like the pepper jack one that they do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dude,
Sure.
I love spicy.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I'm getting, I'm thinking to myself like, okay, so I let Anna sleep in, of course. She comes downstairs, got her some more water, some Tylenol, some food.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm feeling a lot better today. I'm like, okay. I said, are you still gonna take the day off? She goes, yeah. I said, I think that's a good idea. And so then she goes, well, what are you guys gonna do? I was like, well, I'm getting the boys ready. We're gonna go to Target. And like it was like that. She's like, you guys are gonna go to Target without me? And I go, well, I wanted to get the boys out of the house, and I know that we need, because we're really pushing the potty training for Jacob now.
Oh, good.
Which, I mean, I think Ben wasn't potty trained until after 3. Jacob, he's only 2.
Yeah.
But, like, he wants to do it because he sees Ben doing it.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so I got him, like, he's doing the pull-ups now, and we were looking at, like, fun little Elmo potties.
Okay, cool.
You know what I mean? Because I feel bad. I've said this to you before. But sometimes I feel bad because, like, with Ben, he was my only kid at the time. So I'm like, fuck it. I got money. I got extra money right now. I'll buy this for him. I'll buy that for him. And Jakey doesn't get that. And so, like, now I'll purposely, when I go to Target, like, I'll just get Jacob something. Like, not to be a dick to Ben because that's my boy. But, so she ended up going to Target and, like, we wanted to go to lunch. Ben loves Buffalo Wild Wings. And so does Jacob.
Nora loves Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes.
That's
and
crazy.
I kind of, like... I chalk it up to, like, when Ben was little and we would go out and do shopping and stuff like that. Like, I was financially stable, but not quite as financially stable as I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, but I would always take him to beat-ups because it's cheap for lunch. You know what I mean? I actually, and Anna wanted to go to Mago today because I was feeling a little Mexican food. I was actually feeling some spice. And we're pulling out of the Target in Hoffman Estates, and sure enough, Ben goes, can we go to the Buffalo Wild Wings? And then, of course, Jacob just repeats, Buffalo Wild Wing. Whatever Ben says, Jacob's saying it. And so we went there. And the whole moral of the story is I went straight to the peach habanero and I felt nothing.
Really?
I felt nothing. It was good. I mean, it's got, it's peachy and habanero-y, and habaneros taste great. But then I asked him, and I just said, hey, can I get just a little taster of your the blazing sauce? And he's like, yeah, for sure, man. It's real spicy, though. I was like, I just need to feel like I'm alive.
The normal hit of the habanero just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
You need a mainline.
And it was hot, but it wasn't unbearable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you see that big moth that just flew into the frame there? But yeah. And the blazing's hot. I think I could do the blazing challenge, though.
I think you could for sure.
But I don't know, because they sauce their wings more than I think we probably sauced ours.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, YouTube, thanks for sticking with us. we have no more viewers, so we're going to sign off. I mean, that's not like what we do. We don't sign off when there's nobody watching because, like, did you get the Gary Vee thing I sent you today?
No.
Check your Instagram.
Oh, my God.
I'll text it to you. I took a picture of it.
I have to go to Instagram?
Yeah, dude, I send you shit on Instagram all the time.
Oh, well, I mean...
This is like when you and Christine send me stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, there's Instagram.
No, check it out here. I got you. I screenshotted it. Gary Vee.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Ugh. It hit me today. That hit me. I was like, fuck yeah. Thanks, Gary.
For those of you not watching, it said, I made thousands...
Oh, yeah, for people that will be watching later.
Yeah, I made thousands of pieces of content before anyone gave a shit. I think people give some shits about our podcast in terms of we have what 300 subscribers. You know,
we got
a third of that are watching. Following every episode.
Yeah.
We got people that do tune into our live streams and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's definitely value there. And I think eventually when we continue to grow and get better at our craft, I think as we continue to get more exposure, yeah, I mean, I think we have a good message.
I do too. Nikki just texted me telling me we're out of Angel's Envy. I love those text messages. The one time when someone tells me that we're out of something, and it's usually Nikki. Hey, we're out of this. It's always like, oh, it comes in tomorrow, literally.
There you go. Because you do your job right.
I try.
Really, you do your job as a sound engineer and now a video editor.
No,
were you able to piece that last one together?
I was not able to.
No, did you just keep them off?
It wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was that there was too much of a gap of stuff that was missing. Yeah, which is what I initially thought.
That sucks because I thought that was a good live.
But I tried.
No, dude, you don't even need to try. You should just lie to me and be like, "Yeah, I tried," and then just not.
You know what? I should have been on my A game, and I should have like printed out a mask with your face on it, and I would have like done a green screen cut, and just come here late at night, and like I would have added voiceovers to it.
What the fuck? I cut through all of the different streams and made it sound like you were actually talking with the different words. Yes,
well, I had the audio. I could have inserted the audio file. Oh, okay. Audio file's there because remember we didn't have an issue with that. We just had an issue with our internet connection. Yeah. Which, thanks to our extra long Ethernet cable.
Yeah, we got it tonight.
All right, YouTube. We've been doing this for a while. Love you guys.
Love you.